So in this video, we have actually have variables now in our denominator. So when we find our common denominator, we'll do it along the same lines. I'm looking here, and for the number is 3, so I know that 3 is going to have to be in my common denominator. And then when I'm looking at variables, I've got to have the larger of the two so that I can multiply to get to it. So when I have an a and an a squared, then all I need is just the a to the second right there. So I can then change, and I'm going to look to see what I need to multiply this denominator by to get my common denominator, and which is 3. So I'm going to multiply the left one by 3 over 3, distribute it, and that's going to give me 3a plus 9. So plus right there. And then for the 3a, to go from 3a to the common denominator, it looks like I need to multiply by an a. So I'm going to multiply it by a over a, and that's going to give me an a in my numerator there. So now that I have a common denominator, 3a squared, I can combine my numerators, and that's going to give me 4a plus 9. And there's my answer. It does not reduce, so it does not simplify. We've talked about a problem like this. We'll talk about this in class next time, but let's look at C now. So for C, I have a u plus 2 and a 3u plus 6. So I need to factor my denominator to make it simpler. So this is going to be a 3 times u plus 2. So important, you need to factor. All right, so now when I look for my common denominator, I know I need to have, and again, remember that when you have a plus, it is a group. So I'm going to group these two things together there. So when I have a common factor, for this one, I need to have a u plus 2. So I'm going to write u plus 2 as my denominator. And when I come to this one, I also need to have a u plus 2, which I've already got, but I also need to have a 3. So my common denominator, it needs to have both a 3 and a u plus 2. And I don't want to use this. I want to use the factored form of it. So 3 and u plus 2. This is addition. All right, so then I want to look, and I want to notice how did this denominator change from the original to my new denominator. And you see all that happened was I multiplied by 3. So I'm going to multiply this by 3 over 3, and I'm going to get 3u minus 3 when I distribute. When I look at the second one, I see that nothing changed. So I don't need to multiply by anything. I just keep that numerator the same, u plus 11. All right, so now my denominator, I'm going to keep it when I add and combine like terms in the numerator. So that's 3u plus u is 4u, a negative 3 plus 8, plus 11 is a plus 8. All right, I need to think about factoring this to see if it'll reduce. And I see that there's a 4 in both of those, so I'm going to factor out. So I'm going to reduce. So I'm going to do 4 times u plus 2 over 3 times u plus 2. I'm going to cancel, and my answer is 4/3. Important, you must add first, then reduce. You can't reduce before you add. Put a little star right there. Must add first and then reduce. I'm going to let you do D as a video check, but I would wait to do that. You can do it now if you wanted to, but you can wait to do that. So for example, 3a, you see I've got denominators of x minus 2, and remember that that's a group, and x plus 3, and that's a group as well. So when I go to find my common denominator, it's got to have both the x minus 2 in it as well as the x plus 3. So I'm going to write that in my denominator, x minus 2, x plus 3. All right, so then how did my first fraction change? Well, it got multiplied by x plus 3. So I'm going to multiply this by x plus 3 over x plus 3. There's my clever one. And when I do, I'm going to need to distribute that, and I'm going to get x squared plus 3x. Then for my second fraction, I have x plus 3, and what I'm missing is I need to multiply by x minus 2. So I'm going to multiply it by x minus 2 over x minus 2. Again, I'm multiplying by 1. I'm going to distribute and get x squared minus 2x. I have a common denominator, so now I'm ready to add. Combine terms up here, and I'm going to get 2x squared plus x. Now, I'm not sure whether that will reduce or not, so I'm going to go ahead and think about factoring it, and the x comes out. That leaves me with 2x plus 1. At that point, you can stop and just circle this if you want to, or you could go ahead and finish this out and just rewrite it this way. Either one of these answers would be acceptable.